you what, like Betts was a hell of a player for England. That age group, I know I'm jumping around here, that age group of Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal, players let us down as a country. That's why no one gives a fuck about England anymore. Sorry, John.
What's your language there? You got to stop it now, Ian.
No one gives a toss about England anymore because they don't try. And yesterday, what I saw from Man United was they didn't try. It was.
It's the same thing with Man United, isn't it? It's just we've been here before when they just have this lack of understanding, lack of belief, lack of. I just don't know what it is. I mean, I'm not a Man United fan, so I can't really speak for their fan base, but it's almost like they all give up. You know, they hate they hate their owners, which is fine.
I think the manager has completely done himself in. I'll try not to swear about him. Sorry, John.
That's fine. Yeah. We've got Richard in the room. We're going to do that. Go on, Ian.
No, my passion comes out in swear words sometimes. I love you, man, so I'll try not to. But like, you know, when you look at the manager and he stitches a player up who's obviously got mental health issues and he hangs him out to dry like that, and the other players in there are his friends, and I think he's lost when he hung him out to dry, Sancho out to dry like that in a press conference, saying he's not playing hard enough and he's not trying hard enough. At that point, he lost that dressing room, and those players, they didn't play for him yesterday. They lost every 50-50. You know, the only people that were trying were like Hannibal was trying, but he was a square root of bollocks all, you know. And was lucky to be on the pitch. And I just thought, you know, if as Newcastle United fans, we all looked at that lineup and thought we're playing two full backs at centre back.
Yeah.
And they were brilliant. Yeah. What do you reckon, Richard?
To be honest, I thought I'd come on to a Man United show. We've been talking about our rubbish Man United. Who cares? Who cares about Man United? We're glad they're struggling. It's funny. It's the best thing that's happened this season. Let's hope it continues. I hope they keep their manager forever because he's doing a great job of ruining that club. And it's funny and it's great and we're loving it. And I'm really pleased that we smashed them last night.
Richard, how shit is that? Like, as a supporter of that club, looking at your great club, right? Which, you know, like, oh, you're a gooner.
Yeah.
You're a fucking gooner.
Yeah.
I thought he was a Man United fan. I've just seen your fucking guns on there.
It's a different badge.
We could do an Arsenal preview in a minute as well in the next 10, 15 minutes.
Oh, is that what we're doing?
We're going to, just want to let you know, so I've got Richard on as well, so he's got things to do.
Oh, Man United.
So just talking about quickly about the match last night, Richard. I mean, Newcastle, obviously you watched it as well. I mean, what do you think of Newcastle's performance yesterday, living in Newcastle as well?
I mean, I can only see the second half because obviously I was watching the Arsenal game prior to that. I mean, I was surprised that Newcastle won as comfortably as they did. Looking at the Newcastle team, a lot of changes. I looked at the team beforehand and I'm thinking, wow, you know, Eddie Howe clearly isn't looking at the Carabao Cup as seriously as maybe last season. That was my initial thought when I saw the team. But then to go to Old Trafford and win 3-0 is a fantastic performance. And I mean, I can't remember the last time Man United lost 3-0 at home 2 games in a row in the same week ever. I don't know the last time that happened. Probably never. I don't know. But I mean, it is quite amusing, especially obviously being an Arsenal fan. We had a lot of battles with Man United over the years. And it's quite amusing to me to see them struggling in the way that they are. I think for football in general, really, because they had it their own way far too long. I mean, obviously Newcastle last night played well with the team. They had a lot of injuries. I mean, you know, before the game last night, I was thinking, well, I was quite looking forward to playing you guys. I think you got a lot of injury problems at the minute. You got a few players out, and then. Obviously, after last night, you put your reserves in and played so well. We put some of our reserves in and got hammered at West Ham. So now I'm thinking Saturday's not looking quite so optimistic now for me.
Our reserves, obviously, our reserves, you know, Craftu. He's like prime Cafu. You know what I mean? One of the great,
they've not played much football. Yeah, they've not played much football, have they? Some of those players last night that played for Newcastle. But you wouldn't have known that, would you? Where they played last night. Yeah.
Yeah, some of them it was their first outing for us.
Paul's played more football than they have.
Exactly. Yes. Go to comments as well, quick on overload as well. And what can I say apart from it was like a mausoleum at Old Trafford last night? Mausoleum. Sorry if I'm pronouncing it correct. Sorry, guys. At Old Trafford last night for us. So its third goal didn't even hit the net before I was leaving. That's not good. Mind you, as a club, as shite simple as some chip as, and thank you, Jez. Anyone seen Hannibal trying to cheer up the crowd? Well, it didn't work, did it? Because it was hopeless. Evening, lads. For me, last night was a tough watch. Credit to you, and I'm backing you to win the thing. Thank you very much, Brad. Jez, as shown the vision of seasoned player, not a summer signing. You think he played in the team for years? Exactly. And just chatting to Mick. Very happy that we beat Mandy because if this was 3 seasons ago, we would have got spanked 8-0 exactly, 100%. And do you love Chippers, Ian?
Chippers, you don't even have to ask that question. I love you more than I love your mum, and you know how much I love your mum.
Nothing won't be a chance. I love it. Brilliant stuff. Jez, we currently have 2 featuring fullbacks in Tino, and Hall was slotted in right into the team and looked comfortable already.
England fullbacks as long as Southgate's not in charge.
Yeah, I mean Southgate, I'm not bothered with him. I think he'd be gone at the end after this tournament anyway. I really do.
Yeah, good riddance.
Your guys are the new United. Breaks me heart, but it's well earned in my opinion. That's Newcastle United, of course. And let's go from a hi to Gary V. I hope you're okay. And an evening to Leslie. She's here. Happy birthday to you as well. Evening to
is that Staples. Is Staples in there?
Yeah, she is.
Oh, see?
There she is.
I've seen my message, Staples. I love Staples. She's my bestie.
Great stuff. Bless her. We also got Arsenal fans as well, so we are going to do a preview in the next 5 minutes or so, guys. So still hang about. I know that you do go on Richard's channel, and welcome to JSTV as well. So hang fire. We are going to talk about the Arsenal preview as well. Hi to Nathan. Nathan, hope you're great. And hi to Terry. Hi, and I'm here to back Richard up, even if it's wrong. Wow.
he's handcuffed to a radiator somewhere, that lad.
Yeah. Wow. And Big Joe's been at Casa Casemiro as well. And hi to Clarkey.
Do you know Fatty Miro, right? Did anyone else think that Fatty Miro looked like a flipping chipmunk? Like he looked like he'd had about 3 tons of Botox. That's what my Tommy is. You know Tommy. He's not a disrespectful kid, is he? And he was like, "Dad, man, have you seen Fatty Miro? He looks really fat, and he does something up with it. I'm sure he's got a deformity in his face, like because he looks so overweight. He looked like he's not been training, you know. Like, and I think that is the problem that the second best club in Manchester, the Salford Reds, have got, is that they're not trying hard enough. The players they've got there, they should be competing, especially with the likes of Arsenal, clubs like that, you know, like lower clubs and everything.
Where are we in the league?
Say no more. Hanging
on to you, Richard. Hanging on to you, lad. I only said that just to switch things up. I like you.
Exactly. Yeah, bless. Hi to Stuart, by the way. Both doing the cup anyway. With good luck on that. And you got a tough tie, by the way, against Port Vale, but I expect you to win it anyway. I'm not going to read the next comment, because it's not football, and I think it's taking them the key as well. So I'm not going to read the next comment as well. So if you guys want to read it, cool, but I'm not reading it out. Thank you very much indeed. Evening to Roz. Unite Emery's in the house. I hope Roz is fine. Long time no see. Custody, cheers yourself. I've got lots of Arsenal fans there, which is fantastic. Yeah, good. Thanks. Just had some fish cakes with mint sauce on the top. Nathan, beautiful, my guy, beautiful. What a unit we played, just like you totally schooled Man U or Man Spew, meant to say. Fair enough. He said Hannibal looked like a sideshow Bob. It's more like Carlicini. Not a better Call of Duty. Alan's talking to Les.
What I loved was our lads as we were seeing them off, because the worst thing of coming out of Wembley, losing, the worst 5 games we played in the season coincided with the best 5 games that those knobs played in the season, and they beat us and they deserved to win. We were shite. But walking out, and then they were giving it. I didn't even see a Man United. I didn't see any colours or anything. The shittest ones on earth. And then you see United, they were fun. And as our lads were like, you see, like, give them that little song in their own 7,000. Well, actually 8,000, because we had so many of ours in there. And 8,000 Geordies singing, you see United, never F off home, to them was absolutely beautiful. We hate them as much as you hate them, Richard. And you hate them. I know you do. You hate them.
We want the stuff for next month as well. Leslie said, I did it, Ian. Seeing as you're married or in marriage, can I be your second mum?
You can, honestly, I'll dump her and me and you get married any day, Staples. She won't even be bothered anyway.
Yeah. There you go, Leslie. Jack, you do a score prediction later on for that game, mate. So hang on fire, mate. Tino, good evening, everyone. Eddie Howe is the manager. Of course he is.
Certainly is.
And I can't see how Ten Hag can stay there much longer. Longer. The players will not play for him. It's a bigger issue than just suggesting.
But mate, who do they get? I mean, we're not a Man United podcast, but who do they get? If they sack him, who? Like, who fixes this squad? Seriously, because I don't know. I really don't know.
I don't know neither.
Probably, honestly, Paul. Probably, no offense, like you. I've heard you did quite well on Football Manager last year. They are literally they scrape the barrel. And it's they should have probably just stuck with the boring Everton manager, who's now the West Ham manager, and just stuck with him, and he would have done okay, because he's got a set of balls. But they've mixed and matched, and it's rotten from the top down, and that's why clubs like Arsenal, who have, I'm not going to say that Arsenal's not got its issues in the hierarchy, because I'm sure that Rich will tell me different, because there is a few, and I know there's a few. But the Glazers are raping that club. Absolutely raping it. We all laugh about it, but, we were there. Like, my mates are now at the point where they're like, we're going to hand our season tickets in, and they'll never get them back. Because the Southerners, they live in Salford and they support Man United. If they hand their season tickets in, there's people in London who will take those season tickets. And my mates, who are actually Man United fans, but are disgusted by the way they run, will not be able to get back a season ticket back for years. And this is the truth. As much as we hate Man U and we hate Man U, we hate Man U, we hate Man U, we hate Man U, we hate Man U. What are we? We're Man U haters, aren't we? But they're still a football club, and they've been turned over. Yeah. I think what's happened to them by the Glazers is actually worse, and I might get some hate here. Probably worse than what happened to us with the fat Cockney person. Yeah. Because at least he'd go. These fuckers are never going. Sorry, John. They're 300 million a year out of that club. Why would they leave it?
Exactly. It doesn't make sense. They're here for the money. That's all it is. They don't care. They don't do interviews. They don't engage with the fans. It's shocking. It really is. Right, before we go on to the Arsenal preview, I've got to ask you, Ian, man of the match, please.
Man of the match for me was, me and Tommy had a bit of an argument about this. So he's like, it's Tino. And I'm like, it is Tino. Right? It is Tino. He's played 2 games for us and he's got 2 man of the matches, and it is Tino. But I also thought for the I think I struggle to give a man of the match for that game. I loved what Big Joe did. He just ran around and just kicked people, and that's what I love about Joe. He just, he didn't foul him, he just kicked him. You know what I mean? Like, he kicked the ball and he kicked them, and they hated playing against that. And that's what Arsenal hated at the weekend when I'm there. Are you there, Rich, by the way, at the weekend?
I'll be there, yeah. I don't have a ticket yet, but I'll be there, yeah.
Meet us beforehand. You can buy us a pint, and then I'll meet you afterwards and laugh at you when we beat you.
Oh man, that'd be brilliant.
Or if not, no. So no, I think, like, in all honesty, the Arsenal game is going to be probably our hardest game of the season. I think, because we are severely understaffed in a football sense, and Arsenal's always a hard game. So I don't know what's happening. I know I'm there, and whatever happens, we'll enjoy it. But anyway, what was on about before, Paul?
Man of the match.
Quick,
man, because we've got to do that. Ask a few.
You run out of time. Sorry. So I would say Livy, man of the match, but Big Joe was amazing.
Yeah.
I also loved Willock's performance, considering he's come back from a long-term injury. That's probably one of the best performances I've seen Willock give since the takeover. Willock looks like a different kid. He looks happy. I know he's got a miserable face. You know, that resting bitch face that girls have. Like my missus, when she looks at me and I go, "Are you happy?" And she goes, like that. Which obviously means no, because she's married to me. But no, but I thought the whole team, Hall was amazing. I thought they were all great. So, but if I had to be someone twisting my arm, I'd probably say Tino.
Yeah, cool. Paul, man of the match, mate.
Yeah, I think it's Tino just set the tone for the game for me. That run just kind of like put the impetus into the performance. Like I said, Man United weren't exactly on top, but they were causing some issues here and there, and I just think that kind of set the tone for the game. And then he was, that gave him confidence with the great run, the pass, Miggy scoring the goal. But yeah, I think it's a close one, because Willock would have been my second choice for definite, because he had a phenomenal game. But just behind them as well, I thought Emil Kraft was unbelievable. This lad has come back from an injury that some players don't ever come back from, and he's playing that well after not having much game time. We've got some injury problems, but again, we're giving Eddie Howe some more problems for starting players, which is brilliant. That's what we need to have. We need to, we need this, as Eddie said, we need the squad. So to have people like Kraft playing like that against Man United, and if we need players for the Arsenal game, and we've got Dortmund coming up, we've got big games coming up, it's no worry having players playing as well as Kraft like that. So I'm more than happy. But yeah, I think by a whisker, I think Tino was definitely man of the match, and the players also as well. I loved that they pushed him into the towards the crowd when they were singing for him. That was really nice little moment for him. Just shows that we're together. So when we get into the preview for Arsenal, it'd be interesting to see the Arsenal point of view about how they're thinking of St James's Park at the moment, how they're thinking of Newcastle, even if we have got some injuries.
Yeah, fair enough. Thank you very much indeed for that, guys. Now we're going to go straight on to the Arsenal preview game on Saturday, 5:30 kickoff, St James's Park. I've got to get Richard in as well. Sorry about the delay, Richard, but the preview as well. I mean, who do you think Arteta's going to pick? And are you looking forward to this game as well?
I mean, I always look forward to playing Newcastle, because it is one of the great stadiums in the Premier League, isn't it? And it's always a good game. We've got a great record, of course, at St James's Park over the years. Whatever the situation, wherever we are in the league, wherever Newcastle are in the league, we always seem to be able to get a result. Usually,
historically, we did the
season before last. We didn't. Yeah, the season before last we
didn't we?
But yeah, I mean, overall, we've got a great record, and it's one of the good games of the season. It's a great atmosphere usually, and at the moment as well, with everything that's been happening in Newcastle over the last couple of years, even more so, isn't it? So it's going to be. I mean, I think this season so far for Arsenal, we're unbeaten in the Premier League, but apart from the Manchester City game, I've not been surprised by the results. We haven't really surprised me. We've beaten the teams I expected us to beat, and we've got a couple of draws that maybe we should have won. So we may be a little bit behind where we could have been with the fixtures. The Man City game's the one at home, isn't it? Where we beat them, and we haven't beat them for years in the league. So that was a shock, really. But
yeah, it was a good. No, you always do City, don't you? You're like their bogey team, aren't you?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I never look forward to playing them, but I mean, we beat them, and now this is our first. For me, it's our first real test away from home, because so far we've only played 4 away games out of our 10 Premier League games, so we've kind of got some catching up to do. And the 4 that we've had, I mean, Chelsea are not in great form, although we were lucky to get a draw there. The other 3 were, the games that I would expected us to have won, and we did. Everton. At the time we played them, they were really poor. Crystal Palace, we generally do well there as well. So we haven't really surprised me yet. And I think going away to Newcastle at the weekend, it's going to be our first real test away from home. So this is, after last night's performance as well from Arsenal, which was so poor. It's maybe. Last week, I thought it'd come at a good time for us with your injuries and whatever. You lost in the Champions League, and I'm thinking, is this a good time? You look really tired against Wolves as well. I watched that game, and I'm thinking, this looks like a good time to be playing Newcastle, actually. But as it's turned out, the last few days have made me maybe change my mind a little bit with the swing that there's gone on from last night, really. We were dreadful last night, honestly. That was the worst performance we've had for a long time, probably since when you beat us a couple of years ago. That was a terrible Arsenal performance. And last night was as bad as that.
I thought that was a brilliant game of football.
How many of those guys do you think start on Saturday, though, really, realistically? How many of those guys from last night do you think start against Newcastle on Saturday?
I mean, to be honest with you, Mikel Arteta doesn't like to make changes to the team unless he's forced to because of injuries.
Yeah.
So... And you could see last night, my big issue is what you need to do to keep your squad ready is you have to make a couple of little changes here and there almost every game. So you're not changing 5 or 6 players in one go. The players last night, you had relationships in the team that have not played together before. We had a back 4 that's never played together before last night. And we had some midfield. That midfield trio hasn't played as a 3 together before. And you can't suddenly do that and expect the team to gel. What you've got to do is, you've got one game, you've got to rest one of your back 4, play someone else. One of your midfield in the next game, change one of your front 3. And you've got to do it clever. Mikel Arteta doesn't do that. He picks his same 11 every week. Suddenly he'll play 6 or 7 changes and he wonders why it doesn't work. And that's his fault. That's not the players' fault. They're not playing regular. You can't expect players to train, not play, and then suddenly play and expect them to be straight up to the level that they need to be in a competitive game.
Unless you're Newcastle United, where you just players just train.
Last night was the exception to that, obviously.
Centre back.
What's your view on the? What's your view on the? Because I was hearing some Arsenal fans coming back from work today, being very upset with the goalkeeping situation, like them being annoyed that Arteta can't figure out who's like their number 1. Is that something that's causing you a bit of a headache as well?
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, David Raya was bought to be the number 1. Arteta wanted to buy him 2 years ago because he tried to get him from Brentford before he bought Ramsdale. He couldn't get him at that point, so he got Ramsdale because Ramsdale was available. He was probably the next best on his list. So we got Aaron Ramsdale, and he did okay to begin with. I thought his first season he did pretty well. I thought the first bit of last season he did okay, but towards the end of last season you could see mistakes creeping in. You could see his concentration levels in games isn't great. And I think this season that's carried on. And I'm quite happy with David Raya to be number 1. I think that's what he was bought for. He's not always necessarily had the greatest start to his Arsenal career. Some of the games he's made a few mistakes and what have you. But I think overall he's the number 1 goalkeeper. And I just think Arsenal fans, what seems to have happened, and I don't know how it's happened, maybe I'm a little bit older, but I see Arsenal as a club that should be challenging, winning trophies on a consistent basis. We haven't won a Premier League for 20 years. We haven't won a European trophy for 30 years, nearly. We haven't won a League Cup for 30 years. That's a long time for a club of Arsenal standing. We're a big club. And we haven't won any of those 3 trophies for a long, long time. Yes, we've won a few FA Cups, and that's maybe tied us over a little bit and maybe kept people slightly happier. But Arsenal should be winning league titles. We shouldn't go 20 years without winning a league title. We've not done that since 1930. That's the last time we've gone more than 18 years without winning a league title. So, I'm not happy. And it seems as though a lot of Arsenal fans are celebrating this mediocrity. A mediocre manager. They're celebrating a mediocre goalkeeper, Aaron Ramsdale, saying, he should be playing. He should be playing. Why? He's not good enough. He wouldn't be the goalkeeper at any other top 6 team. He wouldn't be number 1 goalkeeper at any top 8 club, probably. When you look at the rest of the teams in the Premier League who are in that area, he's the worst goalkeeper out of all of them clubs by a mile. It's not even close. He's nowhere near good enough. And Arsenal fans said, he should be back at number 1. He should be playing. Why? He's not good enough. And when it comes down to it, he's a goalkeeper that's been playing for teams who have been relegated in relegation battles. Now he's in a team that's challenging. You could see last season when the pressure was on, like the rest of them, they crumbled. And he crumbled in goal. They all crumbled. Arteta crumbles. That's what we're at. And Arsenal fans celebrating all this. We're better than we were a few years ago. I don't care. We're worse than we were 20 years ago. And that's all I'm worried about, when we were a good team challenging for us. And I want to get back to that. We're a big club. You're a big club. As well, do you know what I mean? And for me, it's not what we're going through, what we've been going through the last 4 or 5 years. This project, if you like, of Arteta isn't working. Clearly, it's not working because we're not winning trophies. Last season, brilliant opportunity.
Youth project, supposed to be like a youth project, Rich. And the thing is, Arteta has spent, remember, 620 million M's, 620 M's, right? I mean, if I was an Arsenal fan, he had to win the trophy. Sorry, he has to win the trophy, right? I mean, he spent that money, If you don't win the trophy this season, you don't win the title. In my opinion, it should be sacked because the end of the day, right? He had 4 seats there to win you a title.
Who's better than him? Who's he going to get? Who's better than him? Yeah, Pep's not going to.
We can get any manager in the world. We're Arsenal. We can get anybody we want. It's just that the people running the club are happy with Arteta.
You took the best team in the world by a country mile, the best team in the world, pretty much nearly to the end, and then you came second. You can't fucking whinge about that, man.
Richard, sorry, let's say that again. Sorry.
You can't.
It's like when Man United won the treble in 1999, we threw away the FA Cup semi-final. We were ahead in the league and lost it, right? And Man United won the treble, and I didn't feel, great. We ran them close. No, I was upset because we should have won. We should have won the league last year and we blew it. I don't care how good Man City are. We had a 10-point lead on them. We blew it. If we'd kept our bottle, Man City wouldn't have won the treble.
Well, we would have won a 12-point lead on.
It was 8 points. You were 8 points clear.
And were you happy at the end of that season when you lost it? Were you happy that you'd lost it to that Man United team? They're a great team, but you threw away the league.
Not at all. You were happy, but what I'm saying is, at that point, Keegan lost a 12-point lead for us to come second. But
we bottled at that. Yeah, we bottled it.
I don't think he bottled it. He lost it because he lost his head. Yeah. And the Taggart, Taggart, he's done your club, he's done our club, he's done lots of clubs. Taggart was a good manager. You know what I'm talking about. He looks like Taggart, sound like Taggart.
You know what it is? You know what it is, right? I mean, if he was 12 points clear, if he was 8 points clear, Newcastle, right? 8 points clear, and we do win the title, right? Richard was saying we bottled it. I'll say the same. 8 points clear, going to Anfield, 2 goals up, didn't win the game. 2 goals up against West Ham, didn't win the game, right? 6-7 point swing. How did that allow to happen? Now, how did Newcastle, right? And I said, we bottled it. I'd get lynched. I would get lynched on social media, but I speak the truth. Now, Richard would say Arsenal have bottled the league. They bottled it.
They didn't bottle it. They got beat. Let's be honest. They got beat by a better team.
Man City are a great team. The Man City are a great team. There's no doubt about that.
Man City are a better team than Arsenal, and they're a better team than any team in our league. Man City are the best team. let's all admit it, hold our hands up. It's
they're the best team. But
team league.
They are the best team. They are the best team. But if we were 2-0 up at Liverpool, John said, if we'd won that game, that's 2 extra points. We're 2-0 up at West Ham. If we'd won that game, that's 4 extra points. We drew 3-0 at home to Southampton, at home to the team that were bottom of the league. That's another 2 points drop.
We can all do this.
We only lost the league by 5. That's our problem.
We were beating Liverpool and they went down to 10 men and we bottled it. You know, shit happens on a football pitch. I think, actually, stop whinging about your team. I think you're doing better, actually, than you should be doing. You've got some really, really good players there. Really good players. And the honest truth is, let's all wait until Pep leaves Man City and then let's see what happens. That's honestly the way I think about it. Once Pep leaves there...
Yeah, but you see, I've always I don't care how good the opposition is. We should be good enough to compete with them and be able to beat them. I don't look at it. I don't look at it like that. And I think too many Arsenal fans, too many people say that. Oh, Man City are this good. I don't care how good they are. They lost 4 or 5 games last season. They can be beaten. They've lost a couple of games this season.
You've got to be realistic. They've got a better manager and they've got better players at the moment. They have,
and they were 93%. They would led the Premier League 93% of the time.
Yeah, like Arsenal fans, like you've got no, you know, like I don't mind us. I'll be honest with you. Probably your favourite manager. I hated him. I hated Wenger. I thought he was a right knob. But you know why? Because he was a knob. But he did whatever he had to do to win stuff. Oh, I didn't see that. Whoa.
Yeah,
you know I mean? Like all the best managers are knobs. We are lucky at the moment. We've got a manager who's not a knob. And I think, to be fair, apart from a few knobbish comments to us, your manager's he's a bit of a knob, actually, isn't he? But he's not that much of a knob, you know. Like, but I think you should be happy with where your team is.
You've got to be like that to win anything. Alex Ferguson was horrible, but that's how you win. You don't win by being nice. Yeah. I don't want our manager to be liked by everybody else. I want all our players and our manager to be hated by everybody, because that means that we're winners.
That's what we're doing. And we're not here. We're not here to be liked. We're here to compete, and that's what you want. So you've got to be realistic. You've got to be realistic.
That's what Arsenal are lacking. That's what this Arsenal team are lacking.
Not as good a team as Man City.
I'm with you, Richard. I'm with you, mate. I'm with you. Yeah, we all know Man City. You all know Man City is the best team. We get that, but also in the position to win that league. You can't be dropping points and just don't win the title. Had it been Newcastle, right, 8 points ahead, 2 goals up, and didn't win the game, and then against West Ham, right, people would be happy. Newcastle will be happy. They oh, Man City are the best team. Yeah, for me, like Richard said, you got to be winners, and I want to win things. So,
but to be fair, to be fair to the Arsenal
fans, it's all our things, mate. You know that.
No, to be fair to the Arsenal fans that were upset with with the capitulation last season, Arsenal for a long time were the best team in the league last season. They really were. They were unbelievable at times last season. Blew teams away. And I think that you're right that the performances when it got to things like the Southampton game in particular, like that's where they lost the league, because Southampton were Nathan Jones was one of the worst managers ever. Like he just was. Like he just didn't know what planet he was on. He was talking about leaving his wife for, what was he saying? He was saying something about cheating on his wife or something weird. You've got this weird guy in charge of them at the time there, and I just don't know whether there was that mentality problem of getting over the line for Arsenal. So it's an interesting one when it comes to what Arsenal fans think, and whether I know the other thing. I don't know if it upset you as well, Rich. People are a bit upset that there's still like this buddy thing between Arteta and Pep. Maybe they're too friendly with each other, and there needs to be a bit more like bite in there, because if there's people fighting for the league, there probably needs to be a bit more like, I saw some Arsenal fans saying that there needs to be a bit more like, actually, mate, I'm going
to bit more like me and Rich.
No, but you're right.
I
when it
love
was
Rich.
Wenger and Fergie, you know what I mean? They hated each other, didn't they? Wenger and Fergie hated each other, and that's what made it so competitive between the two clubs for years and years and years. Right, that was the reason. And now, what Arteta's done at Arsenal is right, and a lot of people will say it's a good thing, right? It's like he's got this happy environment now. All the players love each other. Arteta loves all the players, and it's a big like hippie convention at training, right? Whereas when in the Invincible days, Arsenal players used to be kicking the shit out of each other in training every day, you know, because that's how you become winners. You can see it in training now. They probably laugh about it. They're tickling each other in training. You know what I mean? No, get stuck into each other and go out there on a pitch on a Saturday and kick the shit out of the other team and win the game. None of this passing around football. Let's all
like verging on psychosis. I watch stuff on like programs where it's like Psychos Today and that on YouTube, and it's like Martin Keown's on all of them. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like horrible. He's on like Talk Sport now, and he's like he's got a dead posh voice, and I'm thinking
that's what you need. That's what you need. That's how you win trophies. That is how you win trophies.
When he was jumping all over Van Horseldonk, did he? You know what I mean?
Wow.
He was a horrible player. They were all horrible.
No, exactly. But this is what I mean. This is what you need, right? And you can look at Man City's team. Yeah, Man City play some pretty football, but they've got Rodri, right? They've got players like that in their team. De Bruyne, he's no shrinking violent, is he? De Bruyne, he gets stuck in, and he's a winner, right? And Man City have got that throughout their team. Arsenal don't have any winners in that team at all. They haven't got maybe Declan Rice now is the only one, right? I'll accept Declan Rice. I'm going to accept him out of that because he's brilliant, right? The rest of them. They're all lovely guys, right? They're lovely guys. You'd love to meet them down the pub and have a drink with them, but would you want to stand next to them in a battle and a fight? No, you wouldn't, because they've got no bottle, none of them, right?
Well,
and that's the manager.
Fair enough. Let's go to some comments as well. Right? I mean, Rich is so passionate, by the way. I've got some few comments as well before we come back again, teams as well. I've got a real soft spot for Emil Kraft, of course. Slagged off by huge numbers of the fan base. Yeah, becomes integral to our squad survival of the Premier League. A great pro and a better player that is often given. Yeah, I kind of agree, Gary.
I'm right. 5 million quid.
I said I'll jump on something else, right? Love you, John. You know I do. Paul, you know right. Rich, I love you, Paul. Rich, you buy me a pint on Saturday. I'll see you at Sharks Bar or wherever you are. Yeah,
no problem, mate.
Are you there? You're there. You're both. All of us are there Saturday, aren't we?
I'm not. No, because I got to work.
You let down Larry. Man, Tommy was like, "Oh, he's not seen you for ages, man."
He hasn't. No, he hasn't, and we do love him. I love him, but I can't make it. I do.
He loves you as well, man. Right, nice one, man.
Crack on, man.
Thanks, Rich. Cheers for the.
Cheers, guys. You take care. Cheers. See you later. Sorry about that. That was the lovely Ian as well. So passionate as well. Do follow him. Wow, he's on Facebook as well. Ian Sutcliffe as well, by the way. Let's go for the comments as well.
You might get to finish your sentence now.
Yeah, I get it. I know. Bless him. To Richard, we'll also play the full team on Saturday. Plus, who is the player who worries you from Newcastle?
I mean, we'll play all the players that are fit. I mean, obviously, Jesus is out. He's injured. I think we've got there's another injury somewhere, wasn't there? Who's injured as well? I know, obviously, Jesus is a big one.
He's a big one.
But other than that, yeah, we're going to play. I mean, you'd expect. I mean, I know Martin Odegaard was rested last night. He was rested against Sheffield United. I think he'll be back in the team. It's going to be pretty much the first starting 11 that Arteta sticks with most weeks, apart from Jesus. It'll probably be Nketiah that will end up starting, which worries me slightly because he's not that great. But yeah, I'm not expecting too many changes from the normal team for Arsenal, other than I say Jesus being out. I expect Martinelli will come back in, Saka will come back in. Obviously Declan Rice, he was rested a bit last night. He'll come back in. So Martin Odegaard, it'll be William Saliba will start and stuff like that. So I mean, who worries me for Newcastle? At the moment, Anthony Gordon's playing really well, isn't he? He's a great player. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't think Newcastle, what I've seen of Newcastle, they're not a team of individuals. They're a team as one, if you see what I mean. And it's the way that Newcastle play, the high press, especially at home, they're in your face. And it's not necessarily one individual player I look at with Newcastle. It's just the way that the team play. That's what worries. That's what I'm more worried about, as opposed to, obviously Gordon's a great player. I'm quite pleased that Ebek's not playing because he's a great player as well.
Yeah.
A little bit, you know. But I mean, Newcastle got threats all over the pitch, haven't they? You know, and I think in midfield, as Loki says there, that's a key point because, you know, Longstaff's playing so well, isn't he? He's dominating games, and I think that obviously that's a worry from our perspective because I don't think our midfield's been that great actually. And I think away from home with that atmosphere, I think that could be where the game maybe won and lost. And I think Newcastle got an advantage in that midfield area at the moment. You know, you've got players missing in certain other areas, but I think your midfield is really strong. And we're maybe physically, I think we're weak. We've got good players. Erdegaard's a great player. We know that. But I think physically is where we're maybe lacking. And that's what maybe worries me, the fact that your team is much more physical than we are. You're probably slightly fitter than we are. And, you know, and the atmosphere there, all those things together, as opposed to any individual player, it's more the whole kind of atmosphere.
The whole thing, yeah.
We faced the atmosphere a couple of years ago and we couldn't deal with it. And I think it's going to be similar again. Last season, we quietened the crowd down because we got an early goal. And that kind of swung the game in our favour. You can't rely on getting an early goal every time you play Newcastle. But if we do, that would make a difference. But, yeah, I've got a feeling that it is the atmosphere in the stadium that we've got that we need to think about, I think, more than anything else. That's what worries me. Can we deal with that better than we have done?
Yeah. Let's go for the comments. So I have to agree there. You've got quite a crowd now. So if we get the first score, then I think it'll be tough to crack down as well. So if we're going to win the game, we have got to score first, and then we've got a great chance as well. Our midfield's a shocker. Shinchenko is a pain in the ass. Don't give yourselves on Havertz. We're going to comment on Havertz in a minute as well. We need the 3 points on Saturday. It gives us confidence and help us to close the gap. Personally, I have grudge on them last year. It was very feisty. I would love it if we beat them. Sound like in there. They Fulham, Manny's got Fulham on Saturday. House that ability to turn average players into good players into great players, and great players into legends. Mick, you are so right. You are so right. Another loss, it'll be Fulham this time. Rich, what would you like from Arsenal this season? Silverware or Champions League? I think you want the title.
I mean, see, I think all those years under Arsene Wenger, right, we got in the top 4 every year, and that was the ambition of the club. But what you got to remember is we had no money then. We'd moved stadium, all the money was tied up there. We had to sell our best players every year, and obviously getting top 4 was the best that we could hope for realistically then. Now we've spent all this money building this team. We've got to win a trophy this year. We've got to win, you know, the Carabao Cup's out the window. We threw that away last night. We've got 3 left. We're not going to win the Champions League. We haven't been in it for 8 years. We're not going to come straight in it first time and win it. Not a chance, right? So that's basically out the window. We need to go as far as we can in it, but we're not going to win it. And then it leaves the Premier League and the FA Cup. As we were talking about before, Man City are a great team. You know, to beat them over 38 games, you've got to be almost perfect, haven't you? You can't drop silly points. We've already dropped silly points already, and we're going to drop some more silly points later on in the season. So I'm not confident we can win the Premier League either. So what's that leaves with the FA Cup again, which would be, you know, that's fine. We don't mind winning the FA Cup. It's a trophy, but we've got to win something. Yes, we've got to get top 4 as well. If we finish 5th and win the FA Cup, right? A few years ago, that would have been great. We'd have been dancing around when the final few years of Wenger. That would have been a great result. Now, I don't think that's quite good enough. We need top 4 and we need a trophy this season with the money that we've spent, the time Arteta's had. Now, no more excuses. We need to win a trophy this season and top 4 as well, not just one or the other. Unless the trophy was the Champions League final, which it won't be. But other than that, he's got to win a trophy and get top 4. Otherwise, he goes, bye, see you later, mate. You've been here long enough. You've failed season after season. This is your last chance. And this is it. You either do it this season or you go. That's it.
Do you think the owners would be brave enough to do that?
No. They definitely won't. Arteta's got his feet under that table. And he's, Wenger had a long run, maybe too long for what he should have done. He should have maybe left before he did, right? And I can see it with Arteta. I think the owners are happy with Arteta for whatever reason. I don't know, because maybe they don't care about winning trophies as much as we do as fans. Not even half our fan base don't care about winning trophies. You know, they're singing songs about Mikel Arteta. They're celebrating Aaron Ramsdale. You know, or not celebrating him, but they're trying to get him back in the team when he's not good enough. And it's like this mediocrity now is being celebrated at Arsenal. And to me, I can't get my head around it. we should be now with the money that we've spent, the time I look back on it now, right? When we had Unai Emery, I wanted Unai Emery out because it wasn't working. For whatever reason, it wasn't working. We weren't playing very good football at the time. We was mid-table in the league, all this kind of stuff, right? But had Unai Emery been given the backing and the time that Mikel Arteta was given, bearing in mind we were 15th, 16th in the league in his first full season, Mikel Arteta, and we stuck by him. And yes, improved. Imagine if we'd given Unai Emery that backing, given him the money to spend that Arteta's had, the time Arteta's had to build his own team. Imagine where we'd have been in the Champions League 2 years ago already. We wouldn't be just getting him back now. I guarantee we would have won a trophy by now. Absolutely 100%. We backed the
He's
wrong
a master
man.
at that, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, look how he's a great manager in Emery. He's won trophies in his career before as well. Before he came to Arsenal, he wasn't given a backing at Arsenal for whatever reason. He wasn't given the players he wanted, and he certainly wasn't given time. And had he been, who knows where we'd be now? Who knows where we'll never know because it didn't happen. But I can guarantee you we'd be in a far stronger place now with the backing that Arteta's had with a better manager. And Unai Emery is a better manager than Mikel Arteta, whatever anybody thinks.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
I agree with you 100%. 100%. This one for AFC always got a couple of comps to him as well. If I could find it. Yeah. Arteta spent 100 mil, spent 0, major trophies enough's enough. And he also said,
I think it's 600 mil, but yes, we'll do 700.
600 mil, 620 bags.
What's 100 million these days?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, small change.
Exactly, and he's arrogant, you know what, as well. I'm not saying it as well, but
that's the thing, isn't it? That I've seen that from a few Arsenal fans that they do get frustrated with his substitutions, or lack of substitutions at times.
Look at last night's game right now. For me, he made the right decision, leaving Saka out, leaving Martinelli out of the starting lineup because them two are desperate for a rest, right? They play every week, so rest them, brilliant. That's a great decision, right? We're losing the game 3-0 with 20 minutes to go. The game's done. We're out, right? We've lost. Yeah. So what does he do? He takes off Reece Nelson, who was having a decent game and needs minutes on the pitch. And he took off Trossard, who needs minutes on the pitch, and brought on Saka and Martinelli when we're losing 3-0. It's like, what are you doing? Seriously. I don't get it. That's almost a sackable offence on its own. Doing that. Crazy. And then either of those two got injured. Imagine if Saka had picked up an injury last night in the last 20 minutes of 20 minutes where we'd already lost. And he picked up an injury and he could have been out for weeks, right? That's on the manager. He got away with it because it looks like they've come out of that game unscathed, which is great. Why did he bring him on? What was the point? What was the reason? Why not give Reece Nelson more time on the pitch? Why not give Trossard more time on the pitch? Just because they need that time. You know, he kept Havertz on all game because, again, he needs time. I agree. He needs time on the pitch. He left him on for 90 minutes. He left other players on for 90 minutes. The players that need the time, he took them off and then brought on players that need the rest. It's like, that is just crazy. That's like Sunday League stuff. That's just ridiculous. I just can't get my head around it. I couldn't get my head around it last night. I think, why are you bringing them on? What are you doing? 3-0 down. If it was 1-0, we want to try and get back in the game, do it. Yeah, brilliant. Not a 3-0 down with 20 minutes to go. No.
Makes no sense, doesn't it? Makes no sense, doesn't it? It really makes sense at all. No sense. When Arsenal fans were calling for Wenger's heat, I thought I'm grateful for the point of view of someone in the Ashley era. Now they're competing with the best club in the world. It's timing. Cheers, you're correct. Our players love each other, but they also fight for each other. Exactly. Well said, Richard. Exactly well said, Richard. Guys chatting to AD. Remember when Fergie won his last title? It was with the worst players ever had, and the rest of the league wasn't very strong. Same with Leicester. Again, it's just timing. Totally agree.
Very true.
Totally. That's the point when Howe was underrated, and in my eyes, is one of the best managers in the Premier League. And saying that Howe, if he could be linked to Man United, that's never going to happen.
What's been good is he's lost that silly. When he first came to Newcastle, the whole thing was the guy that relegated Bournemouth. Do you remember that? Everyone was saying that Newcastle got the guy that relegated Bournemouth. And it's like, well, you know, if Villa didn't get the phantom goal that didn't really exist, Bournemouth wouldn't have been relegated. But anyway, but yeah, he's kind of squashed that he's, you know, a manager that just got a team relegated. He's, you know, he has respect. Any pundit now, any fan I've spoken to, rival fan, all say like, what a job that guy's doing. Like, what a job. I would never have said, and even we would have said that, John, like when he came in, I'm not going to pretend that I was the oracle and said, oh, Eddie's going to change our entire career. You know, no way. I wouldn't have said that. I was happy we got Eddie Howe, but I was like, oh, okay, so we're probably going to be, you know, no offense to Eddie Howe at the time, but I was like, okay, we're going to be mid-table, you know, maybe get into Europe now and again, like as in like Europa League or whatever, when we like have a few more players. I did not expect this. And it's brilliant because he's just proved himself. Yeah.
Absolutely. You know what it is, right? I mean, you got to give managers time. Eddie Howe's coming and he's done the job. And, you know, I mean, I didn't expect him to do much. I'm not going to lie. And then he gets his Champions League, gets his top 4. And then everyone's saying, and all the other teams are scared. Liverpool were scared. Do you know what I mean? They couldn't believe he got Champions League. But at the end of the day, he's done a fantastic job. No one in Europe has heard of Eddie Howe. I tell you one thing, they have right now. They have now. Smith Rowe's injured again. That ain't good. And goes as well. I hope we beat you guys on Saturday. Then we just focus in our own respective season. Comment you gonna have some Bears. Big up the Bears, by the way. Since our Eddie Ketia, we get a statue of the guy's crap. And we're going to go back to Havertz as well. 65 million he costs, right? Chelsea must have been laughing, Rich. 65 mil on Havertz. What is the point of that signing? He needed a striker. And he goes and spends 65 million on Kai Havertz. Now, if he came to Newcastle, I'll be disappointed in Eddie Howe. And then I would say he's got to win us a title. Otherwise, he's in trouble. But Havertz, man, what does he actually bring?
I mean, the strange thing is, right, and this is another gripe I've got with Arteta, right? Now, he's bought Havertz for 65 million. Now, I'm actually not sure if it's Arteta's signing, actually, if I'm honest, because there was an interview with Mikel Arteta during the summer, just after we'd signed Havertz, and he was basically saying he wasn't exactly sure where Havertz fitted in the team. Now, Arteta's very, very clear on the players that he wants and the system. They've got to fit his system. That's why he's got rid of so many players that were good players because they couldn't work in his system. He's very, very clear about the sort of player that he needs to buy that's going to work. And Havertz isn't that player at all. If you look at all the players Mikel Arteta has bought in the last 2 or 3 years, Havertz stands out. Even if he was a free transfer, he stands out for being not fitting in with everything else around him. And that's why I find it a strange one. And, you know, we were just talking about Joe Willock. He sold Joe Willock, right? And he's bought Kai Havertz 65 million. And Joe Willock's a better player. Why didn't he give Joe Willock the opportunity to play in the team? Yeah. He's got Kai Havertz 10 games. He never played Joe Willock in 10 games. Why? He was quite happy to get rid of Joe Willock. And look what Joe Willock's doing now at a top 4 team, a Champions League team. Yes, he's been injured, but before he got injured, he was playing well. He's back in the team now. He scored last night. And, you know, why couldn't Mikel Arteta get that out of Joe Willock? Why couldn't he do that? And instead he's bought, whether it's him or not, the club has paid 65 million for Kai Havertz. I mean, last night, I'm starting to feel sorry for Kai Havertz, actually, because you can see his confidence is just gone. Last night, he looked like he'd never played football in his life. He looked like he didn't know what he was doing. And I kind of feel sorry for him because there's a lot of pressure on him, a big price tag, and he's really struggling. He's got to come out of the team. He's got to go away, have a holiday, get himself out of the spotlight. And that's what he needs to do, because if you keep playing him, it's just going to make it worse and worse and worse. And eventually the fans are going to really turn on him and it's going to be horrible. They need to get him out of the team now before it really has a bad effect on him. I mean, you mentioned Vieira as well. He's another one. We spent that money on Vieira. Why didn't we give Willock that opportunity that we've given Vieira and that we've given Kai Havertz? Why? Because Mikel Arteta can't do it. He can't. He would have looked at Joe Willock and thought, Joe Willock does this and Joe Willock does that, but he can't do this. Kieran Tierney's a brilliant left back, but he can't play in midfield. So I'm going to get rid of him. That's what he does. He can't improve players. He can't work with them. They either fit in his system or he gets rid of them. And that's what's going to hold Arsenal back always. The players, if we'd kept after the players we've got rid of, we'd have a better team now, a better squad, and we wouldn't have got Humphrey 0 off West Ham last night.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, yeah, like you said, that 100 million you spent on Havertz and Vieira, that could have got you Victor Osimhen if you put an extra 20, 30 million on top of that as well.
It would get Tony in January, wouldn't it? Ivan Tony would get us him in January.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Are you going to get Tony in Jan? I mean, and another player as well, the AFC always in the chat as well, is Balogun as well. I mean, he got rid of him, didn't give him a chance at all whatsoever. I don't get Arteta at all whatsoever. I really don't. But like I said, if you beat you on Saturday, then I think social media is going to be on the meltdown on this guy. Honest to God. But spot on, Richard. I agree with further Havertz scores away the Bella. I mean, I tell you what, if I was in Newcastle, if I'm a Newcastle fan, obviously, but if he came to Newcastle and he came, I'll be unhappy. I will not be happy at all.
Eddie Howe wouldn't buy him though, John. Eddie Howe wouldn't buy him because Eddie Howe knows he knows players. He knows what works and what doesn't. You can clearly see that the players that Eddie Howe's brought into Newcastle, has he brought anybody that hasn't worked? I don't think he has he? I can't think of one off the top of my head. Everyone he's brought in has worked.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, Tonali has spanned and he spanned until the end of the season. So
you can't blame Eddie Howe for that, though, can you? Really?
It's a bit
Tonali's a great player, isn't he? Tonali is going to be a good player. He just obviously was caught up with all that other stuff, which I don't think Eddie Howe knew about, did he? He didn't know that was going on when he bought him.
No.
But other than that, every player he's bought has been a success, hasn't he? I can't think of one. I can think of at least 10 players Mikel Arteta's bought that haven't worked. At least 10, probably more. And that just goes to who's got the better talent spotting out of them two? Who's improved players more that they already had? Look at the players that Eddie Howe's improved. Joe Linton, he was rubbish. Longstaff, rubbish. Look at him now. Look what that's the manager's done that. We had Aubameyang scoring 30 goals a season. Arteta played him at left back because he didn't want him to score goals. And so Aubameyang in the end, what am I doing here? And of course, he wasn't working. He got rid of him. Kieran Tierney, a great left back, wanted him to play in midfield. Why? Doesn't work. So he got rid of him. Not to say, I can work with you, I can improve you. No, he hasn't improved anybody. He hasn't improved anybody, Arteta. And I would swap managers with you guys tomorrow. I would absolutely do that.
No thanks. No thanks. I would never. I'm not having. Let's put it this way: if anyhow moved to England, right, and Arteta's sellable, I would not have Arteta at Newcastle. No way.
Take him, please. Go on, please.
No,
take him. Just take him for free. You can have him for free. Don't even pay us. Have him for free. We'll swap. Let's do a swap.
And Ketia, take a Ketia with you as well.
Taking Ketia as well. You can have him for free and all. You can have half our team for free.
Hey. I take Declan Rice though.
No. Declan
Rice.
No, not him. No, he's the only one I want to keep.
He's class, isn't he? He's class. The question is, what is Havertz's position? He's not a winger, not a CM, not a striker, and Teta does not play with a cam, number 10. Wow. No. He's got a problem. I think also a good team at the minute, but after last week, they are there for the taking at the weekend. I mean, yeah, could be. Good point that you can see. Good point that you can see an Eddie Howe player. He knows what he's doing. I would have taken Balogun as well. This guy's brilliant. Teta's been 16 competitions since he's been there. That's a lot. Yeah. Mad post, but there's Mbappe. I don't think it will work at the tune. If that makes sense, I wouldn't have him anywhere.
I don't want Mbappe anywhere near Newcastle.
No chance. I
don't want anywhere near. No, I don't want that attitude in our club, mate.
Nah, not at all. He would have us to do well in just stop oil. They way of straws around that pitch. Here he goes, Fulham.
He's about to get to a goal, isn't it? If he ties himself to a goalpost.
Exactly, yeah. The thing is, right, he was put through against Fulham and he tangled his legs up as well. And I tell you what, fans was furious. I don't have any clue if Arteta is a bad or a good coach. I do think he's quite aggressive on the touchline. Yeah, he is very aggressive. And Arteta played Aubameyang left wing back at the start of the season. He played Partey and right back, made sense. Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he's tried £65 million for a bit part player. That's the Nathan. Eddie is not for sale. Keep off. Thank you, Alan.
It's not for sale. It's a swap. We're not going to buy him. We're going to swap. That's it. We're swapping.
He's going nowhere. Nice. No, he's going nowhere at all whatsoever. So I was going to say. So you just quickly give us your predicted 11, Richard. Give us your team's going to play on Saturday.
Well, I mean, it's nowadays it's quite easy to predict Arsenal's team if everyone's fit because Arteta doesn't trust the squad play. So it's going to be David Raya in goal. I think the back four will be Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel. He will probably play Zinchenko. I personally wouldn't, but he probably will at left back. In midfield, obviously Declan Rice, Martin Ødegaard will come back in. It's that kind of that kind of left-sided of the three, that's the problem position at the minute. Smith Rowe's injured. He may have come in. Obviously, Havertz is not doing the job. I wouldn't pick him. Vieira's too lightweight for a game away at Newcastle. That's our problem. He may well stick with Jorginho again, maybe in that position. That's the one position that I'm unsure about, really. Since Xhaka's gone, we miss him so much because he done such a good job in that role, and we don't have anybody else to do that. So that's a problem area for me. You know, obviously Thomas Partey's injured. He would normally Declan Rice would probably have dropped in there with Partey in, but that's not going to happen. So potentially Jorginho, and then the front three at the minute pretty much picks itself, doesn't it? Because we haven't got Jesus, so it'll be Saka, Martinelli. He's going to probably play Eddie Nketiah, because who else have we got? I personally would go with maybe Trossard as a false. I don't like a false nine, but in the injury that we've got, maybe play Trossard as a false nine with Saka and Martinelli coming in from the side, because that will probably be a good way to play. But I've got a feeling Mikel Arteta will go with Eddie Nketiah again, and that's not a good sign for me. But that's the team I think we'll have. It's just who's going to play the third midfield position. Probably Jorginho, because of his experience. And he had a great game against you last year at St James's, actually, Jorginho.
He did. He did. Yeah,
he did. Man of the match as well.
Yeah, he was.
He was sensational. You missing Xhaka big time. You missing Xhaka
we are.
big time. I mean, I don't understand you sold in the Leverkusen to get Havertz. That does not make sense at all whatsoever.
No,
it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Just give Xhaka what he wants. I'll take Xhaka at Newcastle. It would be brilliant for in the midfield. I'm telling you.
He would. Yeah, it definitely would.
Arteta needs to understand how to utilize players for their strengths and how to switch up the style of play. Also, learn more about management to players and game management. Totally agree there. We either win 3-1 or lose 5-0. I don't want to change ever again. It's not good enough.
I agree. I don't want to see him play again in any position. I just think he's not good enough.
No, not for me. It's getting the club done. Not enough AFC. Let's leave there. Xhaka has to be on his knees. Arteta would not rest him. I tell you what, he's overplayed him. He overplayed him, man. Why not play Zinchenko on the left side? Left side of it. Interesting.
Potentially, but I don't think he's good enough. That's why he doesn't play in midfield, because he's not good enough to do that. I don't think.
No. Newcastle exposed to space. Zinchenko pisses away. Game plan for Newcastle, not rocket science.
Every team does it. Every team doing it against us. There, he's out of position constantly. Well, he's not out of position. He's where Arteta tells him to play, but he's out of position when you've got a back four. There's a massive space in there, and that's where teams are attacking, because he's not there. You know, last night West Ham did it, scored a goal. It happens all the time.
Yeah, I totally agree. I kind of agree. I mean, you know what it is, right? I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what Arteta does. Play Zinchenko. If he does, then I think we've got a great chance of winning that game. I think we need to play Livramento and Hall for Champions League, brings pace and quality, and even play them in the Prem as well. I understand what you're trying to say, but I don't think Eddie will do that. I don't think Eddie will do that at all. But I love Livramento play against the Arsenal, but I just can't see it happening at all whatsoever. I've read that, and John and panel, great show, fellas. Respect. Big up, my guy. Big up as well. So right, I'm just going to go quickly to the adverts as well, because I've totally forgot it, guys. And please like and subscribe to my channel as well. Do follow Guru Rich at over in Arsenal as well, and over again. But we're going to get at the end of the show as well. Let's go into the first partners. Jace TV pleases to welcome their first partner, Toffs, the #1 destination for classic football shirts that recreates famous vintage Newcastle United shirts designs. In addition to this massive range of retro replica sports shirts, Toffs brings you NFC-inspired bucket hats featuring Bruno, Tonali, Joelin, and more. Their products are manufactured at the Teen Valley based, made by the fans for the fans. Check them out at toffs.com. Exclusive JSTV discount code gets you 15 off your all orders. Simply quote JSTV 15. And one more as well. We are partnered by Magpie Stores as well. These guys are passionate about supporting Newcastle United and providing fans of quality NFC inspired clothing. The range includes hoodies and t-shirts featuring Gordon, Tonali, Isak, and more. Keep your eyes open as continue adding to the product line. The Magpie Stores is a new store at a new dawn in Newcastle. They could be found at the magpiestore.co.uk. Quote our exclusive code JSTV10, 10% of each order as well. And please contact JSTV via email if you'd also like to join our partnership team. Thank you very much indeed. And let's fly through just comments as well. And it's a bit of a long one as well. For Martinelli, what's our left back, Terry?
Well, it's only because he's got a cover for Zinchenko not being there. That's why.
Yeah, he's wasted though, isn't he? He's wasted at left back. I don't get that. What is Arteta doing?
Oh, I haven't got a clue what he's doing.
No idea. Beats me. I don't think Howe will start Tino Hall on Saturday. I don't think he will.
No.
And you take at AFC as well. Respect for you. Thanks for coming on my channel too. Great show to you, Gary. Thank you very much. And you as well. And Bradford as well. Thank you very much for watching. Now, is this true, guys, or a rumour? If you get out to the group stage, Champions League, Ronaldo can come to us. That's the first I've heard, and I can't see that happening anytime soon.
Don't want him.
Don't want him either. Don't want him as well. Don't want to upsetting the teams we got at this moment in time. And please hit the like as well. Great show, chaps. Thank you, Lauki as well. Hope to smash you through as well. Right,
fair play, mate. Fair play.
Fair play to you. Fair play. Before we wrap up the show, right? I mean, we're going to get the score prediction now between Newcastle and Arsenal. I'll start with you, Rich. I know you're passionate and you're also positive on your team. How's it going to go?
It's a tough one, this, isn't it? Because, you know, as I mentioned before, we've got a great record at St James's Park over the years. I think we've only lost twice since 2005. It is a great place for us, but you know, we played really, really badly last night. I don't know. Yes, the same players aren't going to play, and there's going to be a lot of changes. But football's about momentum, isn't it? And I don't know. I'm not sure at the moment. It's not maybe come at a bit of a bad time for us. Maybe I don't know. Obviously, if we turn up like we did last season, if we get an early goal, we'll settle down. Obviously, we can win because we can beat most teams in the Premier League on our day. I'm not quite sure. I say away from home, we've not been tested yet. And I want to see, actually, I'm quite interested to see how last season that we saw some of the away games, we didn't always cope the best in some of the difficult away games. And I want to see a change this year. If we're going to show him signs of progress, yes, we did win at Newcastle last year, but that was towards the end of the season. It was a different kind of sort of set of circumstances, really. So I want to see us on Saturday go to Newcastle and compete and say, you know, we can go away from home and we're capable of getting a result. Now, yes, Newcastle have got injuries. It might be a good time for us to be playing Newcastle potentially. I think if we played you 3 or 4 weeks ago, it might have been a lot more of a more difficult game than it might already be. So, to be honest with you, I've got a feeling it might be a draw. I know it's very rarely a draw at St James's, actually. Either we win or it tends to be how it goes. I can't remember last time it was a draw, actually. It always seems to go one way or the other. But I've just got a feeling it might be a draw. I just think you've got some injuries, but you've got a massive home advantage, the crowd and everything else. It's a bad atmosphere for the away teams to play in. And I think that goes in your favour. We're coming off the back of a poor result. Away from home, we got a bad performance at Chelsea. We'll have to play a lot better than that. Are we going to? I'm not sure. I'd like to think we can win, but equally, I think we could lose as well. So I think I'll take the draw. If you offer me a draw now, I'll take the draw and think, okay, we're still up and move on. It's a tough game. Let's get a draw. But yeah, I'm going to go 2-2. I think there might be goals in it, and I think that I think it might be 2-2. But it could. Either team can win this game. I think it's in the balance, isn't it? So I'll go with a draw just to be safe. Really.
Yeah, fair enough. 2-2 is. Great show, John. You have to get that great guest on again. Good, Richard. I really like him. And Paul, great to meet you. Take care. Come on, you Gunners. Oh, come on. You Gunners. I think I meant to say it as well. Terry, you're a fantastic chatter. Thanks so much indeed as well. And Rich has been on before. He is an amazing guest as well. And he's welcome to any time. I remember the 40 straw, check tight OT.
No, we don't talk about that. We don't talk about that.
We let you off this time. We let you off. 3-0 to Gabriel, red card, and Miggy hat-trick. John will apologise to Miggy on Sunday. I've never bullied Miggy Foxy, but he had a good game on yesterday. He was great, absolutely fantastic. We don't have a home advantage. We have an Eddie Howe advantage. That's in chairs. Nice one. Come on, you guys. That's Terry. Paul, give us your prediction, mate.
Yeah. So before the prediction, just say to all of the very nice Arsenal fans that have come in, thank you for being really nice to the channel. Really good. Really nice to see you guys. So appreciate that. Like with me personally, Ian, bless him, he's a lovely guy. He's got more grit than I do, but I have a lot of respect for Arsenal. I think they're a really good team. I think there's quite a few similarities between our clubs. In like when you look at some of our history, with like things that have been let down by managers and owners, and the fan base. Whenever they've come to St James's, they're always so sound. They're always like, last time when you came up, like when you got the 2-0 over us, you guys were so cool with me. Saying that we had a good season, good luck for Champions League. So for me, I'm always looking out for Arsenal results and seeing how they're getting on. So I hope you have all of the good luck after this Saturday. But yeah, I agree. I think even though everyone who knows me, I get every prediction wrong. So whatever I say will be wrong. But I agree. I think.
Predicting Newcastle win then. Predicting Newcastle win. That's fine.
Should I say that? Yeah. I was thinking more of a draw as well, which I know is a boring answer. But I just think that there's goals on both sides, and we're both kind of, again, I said this about Man United, whether they were going to come back after getting, smacked by City, whether they're going to come back a wounded animal and be up for it. They weren't. And I guess it's all about how Arsenal cope with, with that loss. Obviously, it wasn't their full strength side. So, it depends on how they come back fighting on Saturday with us, how they cope with that, and how they come, what actually they come to St James's with. So it's always dangerous facing a team that's had a defeat, especially in a cup. Arteta will want to put that right, especially against us. He'll know that losing points against us will impact a title race. He knows that. He won't want a draw. I mean, he would obviously take a draw, but he'd rather a win. So, and we're the same. We want to win. We don't like draws. But I think I've got to be honest. I think it'll be 1-1. I think 1-1. I think that I hate to say this. I think Arsenal might score first. I think they'll come with quite like a big impetus and score first in the first half, and I think we'll get one back, and then it will just kind of a few chances. They'll kind of go past and just a few saves, and then just neither team will get the win and just there. So, as you know, I'm always wrong. So don't listen to me, but I think 1-1.
Cool stuff. For me, I'm going to go 1-1 as well. Normally, I don't go for a win. I'm going to go 1 each as well. I think Arsenal score first, and then Newcastle pound the pressure. We have got to get onto Raya, and that's the thing you've got to do. Pressure him. I mean, when he came up with Brentford, 5 goals went past him, but when he gets that ball, we have got to pressure him, because that's all we're going to have to do. Newcastle, our teams was drawn Cups, League Cups. It's just a fortress. Great show, guys. Thank you.
If they probably give us a home game, it'll be nice.
Exactly. If it was a home game, I'd take it all day. But we've got to win at that. We're going to go for the hard way. I still think we'll probably win the Carabao Cup. I think we'll beat Chelsea. I don't feel that good at the minute. We need to put pressure on Raya. He's had a shocker last time he played St James at Brentford. That's exactly what I said. And let's hope we do the same thing again. So we're going to wrap up the show, guys. We've been on for another hour and 50 minutes. And if you like what you watch, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel as well. Also, do check out my latest match vlogs as well for against Man United. The fuse is going on.
John, that vlog for Man United game is brilliant that you did. I love
it's great. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I've got 80 new subscribers as well in a day. Thank you very much indeed. Nice. And I've got 2,800 views as well. And Richard, where can we find you on your socials, man? And you've got a fantastic channel, man.
Yeah, I mean, the channel's over and over and over again. We do a lot of watch-alongs of the games. We do the Arsenal women as well. I've been to watch the Newcastle women a few times as well. I do love me women's football. We do the Lionesses as well. Obviously, all the stuff with Arsenal as well. It's the good thing about Arsenal is, being an Arsenal fan, there's never a dull moment. There's always something going on, so there's always stuff to talk about. That's one good thing. So yeah, it's we got a nice little community there. A few people that normally watch my channel have been in the chat tonight, which has been nice as well. So hopefully, some of your guys want to come over to my channel and subscribe as well. That would be good. I've got a women's show tomorrow, looking at the Arsenal women. Obviously, I'll be at the game on Saturday. I'll probably do a vlog as well. I'll say you're not there, are you, John? I say I would have got you on and could have had a chat on the vlog, but maybe maybe next time.
Maybe next time.
Yeah, we got a women's game on Sunday as well. The Arsenal women are playing, so we'll be covering that game and loads of other stuff. Champions League next week, isn't it, as well? So that's all exciting, isn't it? We've both got big games coming up, haven't we, next midweek? That's going to be, that might play an impact on the game actually Saturday, mightn't it? Because there's a massive Champions League game for both of us. You've got to go to Dortmund and get a result. We've got a second game against Sevilla where, we need to get a result as well to put us in a good position. So, yeah, lots of exciting stuff happening at the minute, isn't there, really? It's good stuff.
Absolutely. It's good stuff. Yeah, absolutely. That's a tough game, Dortmund away. I wouldn't mind playing Livramento as well again. And I tell you something, he was fantastic there. And if you've got to score first over there, if you have any chance to get in the last 16, do you
think you'll go through? You think you'll get through that group? Because it's a tough group, isn't it, now?
All depends on Tuesday night. If you don't win this game, I don't think we beat PSG. We'll not beat PSG. Not over there, we won't. Because I tell you what, they're not going to forget us what we did. They want revenge. And I think we may just get that. I think we'll score, but I think PSG will be too strong on the day where it really matters. But if PSG do beat Milan, they'll be in the last 16, I think. And then will they rest their best players against us? I do not know. I don't know. But we should have to see what happens. And we just got to take one game at a time, get at least a point at Dortmund, and then we might just be in the Champions League race again. We should see.
We'll be fine. We'll get through.
I hope you're right.
I'm confident because we can. I don't think we played that badly against Dortmund.
We weren't bad.
Yeah,
we just couldn't finish. Couldn't finish second half as well. But I still think the first goal should not have stood because Gordon's shirt got pulled back.
Well, yeah.
Anyone's seen that. Bloody hell, it's just finishing. Sorry, Phil, he's too late, mate. And Fox made a good point as well. We need to score first. I've said that. First goal is vital in this game. Arsenal will not handled that.
I agree. If Newcastle score first, I think we'll lose. For us to get a result, we have to score first, definitely 100%. I'm not saying that if we score first, we'll win. We may do, but if we concede first, we're definitely not winning. In fact, I doubt we'll even get a draw, especially if it's in the first 20 minutes, because the crowd will be up for it and a goal. And in last season, if you remember, when we played at St James's, you was given a penalty, wasn't you, very early on, which was overturned in the end, which was the right decision. But had you got that penalty and scored, I think Murphy hit the post as well, didn't he, in the first 20 seconds?
Yes.
And if that happens on Saturday and you get the goal, I think we'd have lost that game last year if we'd gone behind in that first 10 minutes. We then broke away, got a goal with our first attack, and then we went on and grew into the game. Whereas on Saturday, if you score first, especially if it's early on, I fear that we could be on the end of when you guys get going at home, we see it against Crystal Palace the other week. You did it against Aston Villa earlier in the season. When you get that momentum at home, you're very difficult to stop. So we have to score first. Otherwise, I fear it could not be a good day for us actually if you score early.
Absolutely. You know what it is, right? It's just we've got to score first, and I hope that is the case. Sorry, Richard, I've got to say that.
No, I agree. Unfortunately,
score first to that against John. If you win on Saturday, I would definitely on your show on Saturday night. If you lose, have a good life, and you Paul. You too, so I'll tell you. But you've got to come on my show. You've got to come on my show. Go on me Twitter, and I'm happy to bring you on as well. But also going to get Andy on, so Andy Raven as well. All Scores Twitter accounts as well, and I'll get him on as well too. And
that's phrased on a great picture of you, John.
Yeah, I know. I'm frozen as well. So, like I said, don't go away whatever you do as well. We are going to end it there, but don't go away because I'm going to hide these things so I can support them. But if you like the video, like what you watch, guys, make sure you like and subscribe. And we do love the Arsenal fans coming on our channel as well. And until then, as always, and have a fantastic evening. And it's the winner, lads. Don't go away yet. Go winner, lads.